Hello, and welcome to today's motivational interviewing tip. Today, we're coming back to the spirit of motivational interviewing, and we'll be talking about acceptance in particular. Remember, the spirit of motivational interviewing is the coming together of four elements: partnership, acceptance, compassion, and empowerment. We can learn and excel at the tools and skills of motivational interviewing, the open-ended questions, affirmations, reflections, summaries, etc. But it's showing up in the spirit of MI where the transformative magic really happens. And that has everything to do with the intention you bring as a practitioner. Before we begin our exploration of acceptance, I want to emphasize that we don't have to agree with something to be in acceptance of it. People can get stuck here because how on earth am I going to accept someone whose political views are radically different from mine? Or maybe someone who's committed a heinous crime. I'm going to say this again because it's so important. Acceptance doesn't always mean agreement. So, what does it mean really? And how do we manifest it through the spirit of MI? Could you find it in your heart to believe that despite a person's previous actions, they're still deserving of compassion and respect? This can be really tough. What helps me is to think about when one of my kids does something wrong. I might not approve of their behavior, but of course I still accept them for who they are. Imagining the child version of the person I'm talking with can sometimes help me to be more in acceptance. And even practicing self-acceptance is an ongoing process. I try to remind myself that I'm allowed to simultaneously be a work in progress and a masterpiece. So in motivational interviewing, the spirit of acceptance is broken down into these four components: absolute worth, autonomy, accurate empathy, and affirmation. So let's explore each one a little bit. Absolute worth, valuing the absolute inherent worth of every single human being, unconditional, non-possessive, positive regard. I promise to accept you as a human being who is as good as and as worthy as and as deserving as I am, and as admirable as every other human being who struggles to make things better. I promise that I will see you for who you are and not who someone else might want you to be. And that's from Paul Burke, a member of the Motivational Interviewing Network of Trainers. Affirmation. Seeking and acknowledging another person's efforts and strengths. It's the opposite of seeking what's wrong with the other person. So really putting on those glasses and looking for what's right. I promise to give attention to the good and the courageous and the amazing in you. I will highlight the skills and traits and strengths that you possess and that are available to you as you work at improving your life through our talks. Accurate empathy is an active interest and effort to understand the world through the other person's experience. I promise to work very hard to understand your point of view with accuracy before I ask you to consider mine. I will ask you to correct me when you sense that I haven't got it right so that I can join up with the way you see things. I promise to remember that I am not in your shoes and never have been. That is why I promise to stay curious and to learn from you about what your experience has been and what hopes and wishes call you forward. I promise that hearing what you say and mean and want and need will be a priority in the way that I work with you. And then lastly, autonomy, honoring and respecting the other person's right and capacity for self-direction. I promise to respect that you are the boss of you in all ways. You get to decide how and when to move forward, if at all. Here are several different quotes that have to do with acceptance. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. We cannot grow when we are in shame, and we can't use shame to change ourselves or others. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones who would do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. Accepting others' differences is the first step towards building a more inclusive and compassionate world. I'm curious which of those quotes spoke to you. Also, I'm curious how you're able to practice self acceptance. Speaking for myself, there are times when I've been pretty hard on me, feeling like I need to be a perfect wellness coaching role model in order to be effective. Not true. Who in your life communicated deep acceptance of you, just as you were? And lastly, what helps you to remain in acceptance in your coaching practice? Please share your thoughts on any and all of these questions. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll look forward to hearing back from you throughout the week.